Okay, so for our first card, which is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs, we have the Page of Wands in the reverse position. So perhaps some of you have gotten some disappointing news. This is a strong possibility. This news could have been about a project that you have going. It could be about a job. It could be about a personal situation. But more times than not, it would be more like a project, especially if it's one that's creative. It could also be about, education as well. Typically, I associate education with all of the pages, just the education's a little bit different. Anywho, so with the Page of Wands in the reverse position, sometimes the aggressive side can come out. So some of you could perhaps be feeling a bit more aggressive these days, and most of you probably have a pretty good reason for feeling that way. But you want to make sure you don't take it too far, because some may look at you like you're being a troublemaker or you're being a bully. Everyone's perception is different, but I gotta throw that out there. Now, to clarify, we have the Ace of Coins in the reversed position. So perhaps you guys have tried to start something new and you just keep having to deal with obstacles and opposition. Maybe some of you are just at a point where you're just indecisive about what you want to do. Maybe some of you are lacking motivation. Maybe some of you are a bit fearful about whether you can actually succeed at what you want. And maybe some of you are just simply worried and anxious about being weighed down with more responsibility and troubles. The Ace of Coins in reverse is about us getting a new start, within the financial sector. And a lot of times when it's in the reverse position, it's indicating that perhaps we've made a wrong turn. Maybe we didn't analyze the situation clearly enough. We didn't account for, unexpected expenses popping up. The Ace of Coins in reverse is definitely a warning to not overextend yourself financially. Yeah, so definitely want to be careful here. Okay, for our circumstances, we have the Judgment card. Now, with the Judgment card, this is like the cosmic wake-up call. And there's always a choice that we have to make with the Judgment card in particular. And anytime the Judgment card comes up, it's a huge decision. It's a life-changing type of decision that we're facing. Yeah, and when we clarify, we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. So with the Queen of Cups in reverse, this definitely shows that the emotions are definitely out of balance. And there's a tendency to think with the emotions rather than with the logic. And we really don't want to be making decisions based off of our emotions, especially for Gemini. You guys are ruled by the air element, so logic. So perhaps you guys are facing an internal conflict about this big decision. And, this decision is like, there's an inevitable sense of, you have to make this choice. It's a huge life choice. It's a change, and it's a decision that you have to make, but it's a big one. So obviously a lot of you guys are probably feeling pretty conflicted about this particular choice. And that's okay. This is like a epic type of decision, It's one that can completely change your life, but you must realize that your free will is on the line, so to speak. So, you want to make the right choice. And, especially with the Judgment card, this can be about absolution as well. So, this can indicate that you're, being a bit overly emotional when it comes to making a choice. But perhaps some of you might have some guilt, some sorrows, past mistakes. Now, the upside here is with the Judgment card, you can be forgiven. You can find absolution here with this particular energy. So, if you owe someone an apology, don't be afraid to give it, The Judgment card can also be like our huge transformation, I can't even think of the words at this moment. I have to channel Gemini energy every time I do readings for you guys, and I tend to get scattered because, of course, I'm Virgo, so I want, everything to be detailed. So, yeah, I can get scattered myself in this energy. I'll come back to it. Because it'll come back for certain. Okay, so this would be the focus. And here we have the Page of Swords in the reverse position. So with the Page of Swords in reverse, if you feel or know that the truth had been withheld from you, from someone or a few someones in your life, the truth definitely gets revealed under this particular energy here. The truth will be revealed. And the truth will be revealed even if you're the one deceiving yourself, which is quite possible. Now, with the Page of Swords in reverse, a lot of times this brings a sudden change. And we have to make a decision. And a lot of times this decision, has to be made quickly. But these events can be sudden that occur. And some of them can even have a bit of a strange type of twist to them. And, a lot of times with the Page of Swords in reverse, there's a tendency to not be very trusting. And for some of you, rightfully so. And so there can be a sense of constantly feeling like you have to look over your shoulder. And sometimes that can lead to a little bit of paranoia. But my best advice is definitely try to remove yourself away from people that you know for a fact that you cannot trust. Try to remove yourself out of that type of situation. But there are definitely some sort of major change that's coming. And it could be very unexpected, or it can be, one that has a very strange twist to it. But overall, these changes are necessary. Sometimes they can be positive changes. Sometimes, it can be a negative experience that leads us through this, but just know that we learn a great amount here under this energy. Now, we have the Hermit card to clarify. So, the Page of Swords in reverse, the overall energy can be a lot of confusion and feeling scattered and just simply being confused about which way should I go, who should I trust, which choice should I make for this particular thing and that and this and that. The Hermit is saying you already know the answers. You know, for some of you, it might be a good thing to just try to not react immediately. You know, go within and be introspective like the Hermit and listen to your higher mind, or, you know, your gut feeling, however you want to look at it. But to go within and have some inner reflection would be a very positive thing, and it will definitely help get you through this type of energy. Now, for a few of you, you could seek out some counsel and advice, and this person would be very wise, so definitely consider the advice that they give you. You know, again, go within and reflect on it. Do what you feel is best for you, ultimately, in the end, regardless. Just do what you know is best and what feels best for you. Okay, so this would be your recent past or the energy that is currently passing. And here we have the Wheel of Fortune. So it's in the reverse position. So a lot of you may have felt like you've really had to work a lot harder to make things happen. Some of you may feel like you just haven't had any luck. Some of you may be feeling like if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all, you know. But ultimately, with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it's mainly about us having to get out there and get our hands dirty and, you know, actually apply ourselves more and work harder to make things happen, because that magical luck is just not there to fall into our lap to make everything come together. So we have to work harder for what we want. And then it's clarified by the Ten of Wands in the reverse position. So it seems that a lot of you guys have been carrying some very heavy burdens, and you just was like, you know what? I'm having to work hard enough to make things happen. I'm dropping these burdens, you know. A lot of times, you know, family members or friends, you know, someone wants help. You know, you're already carrying a heavy load yourself, and then someone else wants you to help them out. So then you try to take on other people's burdens, and it's too damn much. Too much for one person. And you finally saw that, and you were like, you know what? I'm done. I have enough irons in the fire myself. I can't handle anybody else's shit. It's just that simple. Now, this would be the present, the here, the now energy, and we have the Lover's card. So some of you could be focused on a relationship right now, or with the idea of having a relationship. It can go either way. And, you know, of course, we're talking Gemini, so, you know, some of you may not want a relationship. So this can also be about making choices. And the Lover's card is also ruled by the sign of Gemini. So maybe some of you guys are having to make some choices in your life. Perhaps it's regarding a romantic situation. Do you want a romantic situation, or do you not? Are you already involved in one? Do you want to continue it, or do you not? You know, this can go many different ways. Okay, so we clarify, we get the Strength card in the reverse position. So anytime the Strength card comes up in reverse, I automatically go to fear is in control. And so when this happens, we tend to make decisions based off of fear. And that's if we can make a decision at all. But fear is the biggest element with the Strength card in the reverse position. Now, it can also indicate that perhaps maybe some of you are trying to make your point to someone, and you just might push too much. So there's a possibility that you may try to, physically make your point of view. Not that you're going to, get truly physical with someone, but you may push too much, okay, in order to make your point to someone. But you really don't need to push, because through being loving and understanding and compassionate, that's how you can make your point, and just be patient. But that's why I mentioned fear first, because for me, I'm feeling more fear associated here for you guys. And perhaps some of you just absolutely fear being in a relationship. Maybe some of you just don't trust that everything will be okay. Maybe some of you feel like, I've already been hurt too much, I don't want to get hurt. Maybe some of you haven't been in a relationship before, and you just don't like the idea of trusting someone with your heart and your emotions and, being vulnerable with them. So maybe it just scares the hell out of you. And maybe there's just simply a choice that you need to make about your personal life, and you're probably feeling a bit indecisive because you've got fear controlling your mind, getting the better of you. But you can take back control, and you need to take back control. Don't let fear make your decisions for you, because fear will paralyze you. It will keep you in the same spot like a hamster on a wheel. You're running, but you're not making it anywhere. So don't let fear make your decisions for you. And I know that's easier said than done, but I just don't want you guys letting fear get the upper hand here, because when strength is in the reverse position, fear tends to get the upper hand. And then this can cause us to react in a more forceful manner than we normally would. Okay, so this would be near future. Here we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse position. Let me just throw this out here. I don't like this energy at all. I mean, in the upright position, I love this card in the upright position. And this card is Gemini, actually, but it's in the reverse position. So anytime this card pops up in the reverse position, this is like, a heads up, because there's trouble ahead. So this is definitely indicating that there is some sort of trouble ahead in your near future. And this trouble may come from someone who is opposed to you. Someone who is opposed to your thoughts, your actions. This person could be jealous of you. Quite a possibility. But with this overall energy, one is not able to fully express or communicate how they're feeling. A lot of times with this card in the reverse position, deception, dishonesty comes up. A lot of times with this card, someone's looking to start a war with you, essentially. Now, maybe you may have potentially started it, maybe you didn't, but there is somebody that's looking to start problems for you, looking to start a war. They're just simply a troublemaker. And they don't just want to rock the boat, they want to sink the boat. So you do need to be careful. Now, the Knight of Swords in the reverse position, in the upright position, it's all about getting to the truth of the matter. And when it's in the reverse position, there's still that sense of, we need to get to the truth of the matter. But unfortunately, in the reverse position, there's so much conflict and opposition that is attracted your way. And sometimes this can happen because you spoke the truth. And perhaps this person just did not like the fact that you spoke the truth. But you know what? Hey, if it's the truth and it's the absolute truth, then do not worry about what this person may think of you. Speak the truth. Even if you're a minority of one, speak it. The truth is the truth. That's why I love the truth. Because it never changes. It's always the same. So to clarify, we have the Ace of Swords in the reverse position. So this definitely indicates, again, this can be mental confusion, a lack of mental clarity, but this can also indicate trying to make something happen with too much force. So, yeah, you definitely want to be careful because you don't want to attract any more opposition, because this opposition here is bad enough. You don't want a crowd of people, okay? You could have one person potentially, or a couple people that are opposing you and trying to cause problems for you. But if you continue to push and too much of a forceful way, you may push back in an extremely forceful manner, and then it can attract even more opposition. So then, more problems. So you really want to be careful here. Now, the Ace of Swords in the upright position is all about getting the truth too. I look at the Ace of Swords like this is the sword that literally cuts through all the bullshit. I mean, excuse my French, but, it is what it is. Not everybody likes the truth. And those are typically people that have something to hide. So, you just want to be careful. You don't want to harm anyone more than you have to. When I say harm, I mean, like verbally. Because when it comes to the swords, typically the tongue is the weapon. So you want to be careful of what you say and how you say it, because you can really hurt somebody. Even though someone may be trying to do that to you. But I always try to let people know, do defend yourself, but at the same time, try to be the bigger person. Try to be the more mature person. If you catch my drift, Don't lower yourself down to the other person or the other people's level. Don't let them yank you down. You can make your point without being overly forceful.